Back again, another book, another bestseller, another party. It's just general life in publishing and working with Peter James, which is just a joy. I love the boy.
Oh yeah, well I can remember one Sunday in particular, Peter and I flew from Heathrow Airport out to Hooton to the reptile fair. Hired a car and arrived there. Very interesting, walking around, seeing all the people buying the different reptiles and actually seeing them. And Peter was delighted because he saw a guy who had actually been bitten by a saw-scale viper and survived. So that almost was worth the visit on its own. But it was certainly interesting. There's some fairly gruesome sights as well.
I think he's obviously using the local streets and shop names, and our shop is mentioned quite regularly, I'm pleased to say. But I think the main thing is that they're just very well written and they're extremely addictive, really.
Well, sometimes when I've read the books, I've seen myself in them, for sure. I mean, they're very powerful pieces, very well written, and I think they make wonderful, wonderful TV and wonderful film.
We've known Peter for a long time. He buys wine from us, and we supply him with wine, and then we go to his house and we drink the wine. So it's a win-win. So if he's selling books, we're selling wine. That makes us very, very happy.
No, Peter will always be a close friend. Our friendship becomes before work. And it's just great to see that he's growing and growing and growing. And part of that is just the sheer amount of hard work he does.
I think Peter is the person I've interviewed most since I've been working at BBC Sussex. I've just started the new book, read the first 50 pages. Already we've been skiing in Courchevel and over to New York, so he's travelling far and wide on this one, so looking forward to the rest of it.
Yeah, I think you often take over a character, or you become one of the characters, or they're characters that you know, or extra versions of characters you know, and you think maybe this whole subterranean life is going on that you don't know about, because we all lead our lives, we wander around, and think, all these these things going on, where does this nasty streak come from in him? Does he know all these people?
This annual book launch of the Roy Grace book, with my publishers very kindly put on, is the big night of the year for me. I'm excited, nervous as hell, because the book comes out tomorrow, so we don't know how it's going to do, but fingers crossed. I'm very happy with the book. make white venom.
Last year, You Are Dead, which was the reason we celebrated last year, spent 5 weeks as #1 paperback, which was the longest he's ever spent as paperback #1. And we sold almost 50,000 copies in international markets around the world of a book, of a series of books, which I mentioned a while back, are a hymn to Brighton, but what they really are is more of an opera to Brighton as they go on. I just sort of don't want to confuse Peter with Shakespeare or anything like that, but there's an absolutely ripping plot in this book, which I'm not going to give away. And in Shakespeare, there is always a tragedy in the tragedies, but the scene before the tragedy is a load of goofy guys messing around being funny or making really serious things make you smile. And the only thing I will say about the end of this book is that the funny bit, which is also tragic for me, is when Marlon the goldfish throws off the mortal coil. But
Fish killer! I saw this rather tubby detective sitting at a desk with 2 large tins of Quality Street in front of him. I couldn't resist it. I said, "Oh, you like your chockies, do you?" He said, "Actually, these contain food for my poisonous frogs." I said, "Tell me more." And he then started showing me pictures of these poison dart frogs that he keeps. Stunningly beautiful colours. One of them was like a sort of purple sprouting broccoli. And he said, "Touch one of these and you're dead within a few days." Well, I've been planning to write a novel about a black widow ever since I wrote Dead Simple. And last year when the play was touring, there's a big reveal when it turns out that Ashley, the beautiful lady in the play, is the evil villain. And I suddenly realized that people love a beautiful female villain. So I decided I wanted to have a beautiful female villain in my new book. And this gave me the way in. And I said to him, "This sounds wonderful, tell me more." He said, "Oh, it's no good." He said, "Because if you take them out the Amazon, they don't have their natural diet of their insects and grubs, they lose their toxicity." He said, "But snakes," he said, "snakes kill more people in the world than guns every year outside of war. The saw-scale viper kills 45,000 people in India every year." And that's why I ended up with Snake Rat around me this evening, and why Dave Breen very kindly is here with his friends. It's important to remember that, as I said, that police officers are not superhuman. They enter the service from all walks of life. I know one who was formerly a trainee bank manager, another who was a carpenter, another was a social worker, another who was a gamekeeper. Paul Sutton, the head of the ambulance service, recently said this: "Wearing a uniform does not protect you from trauma." City Books, who are selling books here tonight, will give £1 per copy to the Trust. Lara and I are donating £1,000 ourselves. You'll see the wonderful cadets with collection buckets when you leave. Please put in whatever you can. And remember, banknotes are less heavy for them to carry than coins. Thank you very much.
about this book?
What about you? Amazing. I read every single one of them, right from the very first one.
Absolute Peter James fan. I've read all the novels up until the point when Peter and I met, which was about 6 or 7 years ago. And I love them, because they're about Brighton, they're about real crime, they're exciting, they're page turners, and they're so believable.
Hi, Peter James is a hero. He will be our #1 author this year, I guarantee.
I love this guy. I've always loved W.H. Smith, ever since 1981. My first book came out, and they were the only major chain to buy it. They bought 30 copies nationwide. It wasn't a huge amount, but I was able to tell people, W.H. Smith bought my book, you know.